Will the Joker sequel be a musical? Where does Kenobi rank on our Star Wars list so far? And which has a brighter future, Star Wars or Marvel? Well, I talk about all that and more on this episode of the Toddcast. Hello everyone and welcome to the Toddcast. As always, I'm your host, Todd McManus, and today is a very special episode because joining me for his 8th appearance on the Toddcast, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back Mr. John Wright. John, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. 8 times. It's
a lot.
That is a lot. Getting ever so close to that double-digit 10th appearance, you know.
Yeah.
So, I wanted to go ahead and we're going to talk about one of our favorite subjects to ever talk about. That is, of course, food.
Mm-hmm.
So, what I want to bring up with food is there's 2 places I've never been to, but I've always heard of, and I want to know if you've been to them. The first one I like to ask, and I feel like it's always like a weird, not an abomination, but it's like this weird aura around it to me, and that's White Castle.
Yeah, I have been to White Castle.
Is White Castle good?
You know, it's one of those places that's really good when you're drunk. And you gotta find a good one for it to be good while you're sober. So
yeah. Because there's probably more bad ones than good ones, like just regularly.
Yeah. It's not as good as, like, say, a Chick-fil-A. But
yeah,
you could put it up there somewhere with In-N-Out, if you've ever been to an In-N-Out.
Oh, okay. I have not, but
well, it's pretty good.
That's the first time I've ever heard White Castle and In-N-Out in the same conversation.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna get assassinated after saying that.
Because, you know, In-N-Out, people have like such, because it's In-N-Out and Shake Shack that are the like East and West Coast.
I love some Shake Shack,
and I've never been to either.
Shake Shack is amazing. You ask for a small order of fries and they give you 5 pounds of fries. Oh my god!
I've never, because I've looked it up because I want to know if we had one. Because like Louisiana, we don't have an In-N-Out. We don't have a
Mississippi.
We don't have a Steak and Shake either. I'm pretty sure we don't. But there's a Shake Shack in New Orleans that I saw. Because there's a Shake Shack and a Cheesecake Factory down there. And that's another place I want to go. All those, like, places you always hear about, but you never been to.
Yeah.
Like, that's a lot of them for me. Like, In-N-Out, Shake Shack, White Castle, Cheesecake Factory with their million thing menu, you know. But White Castle's always weird to me because it always looks like... Because I knew about the freezer hamburgers before I knew about the restaurant. And I was like, why did they turn a restaurant out of these freezer hamburgers? And then people were like, well, they're actually good. And apparently they're better from the restaurant, which would make sense, you know. But you can go in there and get like the burger briefcase of like 20 of them or something.
You absolutely can.
But they're all like just sliders.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so...
They're like 1-bite hamburgers. Oh. It's so good.
Because they're like... Are they like as big as the sliders from like Chili's or something? Like around that size maybe? Because they're not that big. Like...
I mean, yeah, pretty much.
Just... Maybe just shorter with less stuff on it.
What's... Is it called like Checkers? Or... There's another...
There's Checkers and then there's Culver's.
There's a place that sells sliders too, and I can't remember what it's called. They have them all over the East
Crystal?
Crystal.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay, because I remember them being the ones that sold sliders too.
See, I don't like Crystal. I do like White Castle.
I feel like
Crystal.
That's a thing I hear too, that people say that they'll like White Castle. Like Crystal's just old, and like Crystal's one of them places that you're shocked that it's still in business. Kind of like Burger King.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I will say, you eat a Burger King burger, it doesn't taste like any other kind of burger. Like, it's at least different. I ate a McDonald's burger, it's going to taste the same as, say, a burger.
Like, it feels like their burgers are just, like, made in a factory. Like, they're manufactured burgers.
Yeah.
But Burger King, you can tell they made it.
At least they put some essence of a grill on. Like, it tastes like it has been near a grill.
Yeah, like... McDonald's always feels like they somehow like like them old cartoons where they get space food and it's just dust and pour water on it and it turns into a dinner or something. You know, that's what McDonald's always feels like. That is, it's like them burgers that are made out of the goop from SpongeBob.
Yeah, or you know the Spy Kids movie where they have like the bags of food and they put it in the dehumidifying microwave or whatever and it just pops out. It's like this big meal. Yeah,
that's McDonald's for you. But another place that I thought of that is not really at all the same like White Castle. The only way I compare it is because they have a lot of freezer items. Is TGI Fridays.
Yeah, I've been there.
And which they're just Fridays now. They left the TGI. They cut it out, so it's just called Fridays. I've always seen them. We don't have one around here.
No, nowhere near us.
Or a White Castle. But is Fridays a good place just to eat at all?
It's okay.
It's okay. It's just another place. Because Fridays is like...
It's not as bad as Applebee's.
Well, some people say that Fridays is like a different kind of Chili's. That it's in that area of Applebee's, Chili's, and all them places, you know. Because they're like, they have a bunch of different stuff on the menu, but you don't really know what kind of restaurant they are. But it's like they'll have pasta, and then the next page will have hamburgers and all that kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But they always have these like... There's so much TGI Fridays stuff in the freezer section at like Walmart. And I never understood why and how they got there. Of like, how is their stuff good enough to make it items that you could put in a box in the freezer section and be like, hey, our potato whatever, you know, our wedges or potato skins or loaded potato skins are in Walmart. They're at the freezer section. Like, how, like, I don't understand why they would do that. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good question.
Like, that's a really good question. I need to talk to TGI Fridays, apparently.
I mean, it's the same thing with, like, I don't know if it's like a marketing thing, like it is with Stranger Things, but like you go to Walmart now and you see all kinds of like Stranger Things pizzas, Stranger Things chicken nuggets,
and
or whatever.
Stranger Things is on Dorito bags too, and all that.
But like no, it's like the specific brand.
Yeah, like it's Things. TGI Fridays brand.
Yeah,
like with whenever it's like new video games that you'll see a bunch of stuff like Call of Duty will do stuff with Mountain Dew or something, you know, and like back in the day, the older Halo games was like, oh, here's a new flavor of like Halo 3 or 2 or one of them did like Mountain Dew Red, you know, and it's like one-time flavor. You got to get it and you can get a code for something, you know, on the game or whatever. But with like TGI Fridays, they made it their brand.
Yeah.
Like they have their own branded freezer items that you can just go pick up right now if you wanted to.
Is that Guy Fieri's restaurant?
TGI Fridays?
I feel like it is.
He does a chicken restaurant. I know that.
Or maybe he was the like spokesperson of TGI
for Fridays.
Yeah.
I don't.
Or was it Ruby Tuesday?
No.
One of the weekday restaurants, you know?
I feel like, is Ruby Tuesday out of business?
No, it's not. I loved Ruby Tuesday.
I feel like there was one close, but it closed.
There's... I go to Mississippi a lot. There's one in Pearl, Mississippi, I think. And
is that place good?
I love Ruby Tuesday.
Is it like TGI Fridays?
It's sort of like it, but like, I've never had anything there I don't like. It's just all delicious.
I've seen Ruby Tuesdays, and I've never, like...
They used to have one, I think it's in, like, Spanish Fort, Alabama? Or Florida? Like, you're on the way to the beach, right? And you're driving down through, Mobile.
Yeah.
And you go across the bay. It's in the next town across the bay. And we'll stop there. And we'll eat at Ruby Tuesdays in Spanish Fort. I don't know what state it's in. I think it's in Alabama. Could be wrong there. And it's just always a great experience. You know, you just come out of a tunnel your stomach is empty.
Yeah.
You want some food, and it's Tuesday.
And Ruby Tuesday.
Yeah.
Did they do any specials on Tuesdays? Is this their name? Or?
Yeah. Well, it's different for every restaurant, but some of them do.
Yeah.
I want to say they have really good ribs too.
I feel like a lot of those places do. Like, I like Chili's ribs.
Yeah.
Like, they're good. Because I remember when I was younger, that's like something I would get. It was either the ribs or those sliders with ranch on them, you know. And them things are like, that's number one.
I wish I had a briefcase of those. Oh my God.
A briefcase of them, I would eat every one of them. A briefcase of the freaking chili sliders, those are heavenly. Guy Fieri was the spokesperson in 2008 and 2009 for TGI Fridays.
Am I old? I thought that was like 5 years ago.
No, he was that, and then the next year in 2010, he was in the Aflac commercials. Is what he did.
I don't even remember that.
But
I thought that was his restaurant. Like, he started at TGI.
I think that's whenever he just got famous with his shows and all that kind of stuff.
Little 8-year-old me was like...
And Fridays was booming. I feel like Fridays was way more famous when we were younger. Like 8 or 9 years old around that time. Guy Fieri was in their commercials.
It was
every time you turned the TV on and the commercial would come on for any kind of food, it was always freaking Applebee's or TGI Fridays. Which now it's just Fridays. They got rid of the TGI like a year or two ago. But yeah, like I want to go. I'll end up having to go to different places. If I find a White Castle, I'm definitely gonna go. Just because it's like
check like Shreveport.
It's like Shreveport.
Yeah, you know about Shreveport.
I know about Shreveport, but I may not want to go to Shreveport.
Is it too far?
No, because it's Shreveport.
Or because you might get shot.
That's yes.
I'd probably go. Shoot, I don't know.
But then also, I don't want to drive an hour for bad White Castle.
Well, you'll know never to do it again.
True.
But
which if I can go to Shreveport, one of Mr. Beast's burger places is in Shreveport, and I would rather just go there and just get.
You can just stop at all the food places. You go to Torchies. Not Torchers.
Torchers.
Torchies.
They got Torchies in Shreveport?
Oh, yeah.
That's another place.
Oh, you haven't been to Torchies?
I've never been to Torchies.
Oh, Todd.
Torchies Taco. I've heard about them, and they're
favorite place of all time.
Like I've heard that they're just so good.
The queso?
Just like
Oh my god.
I ain't been to a lot of places.
Oh. Do you like
White Castle Fridays, Shake Shack, In-N-Out, Torchies. What's another place?
I feel like there's a couple.
There are a lot. The Mr. Beast burger place. What was the place I was just thinking? There was another place that's around, but we don't have them around here. I ain't been to Cheesecake Factory. That's another place. Like
Shake Shack and your
Culver's, Checkers, all them types of places.
Yeah.
Crystal, no, I've never been. I've been to an A&W.
All right, that's one place I haven't been. I don't like root beer. So.
But there's also like 4 of them left.
Yeah.
They have. I feel like they do have food, but we didn't get anything. The best thing that they had, which is what I got, which was a glass mug that was a root beer float.
Oh yeah.
And it was really good.
Which you don't like spicy food, do you? Like nothing.
I'll eat it if it's spicy and tastes good. I'll eat it, but I usually if I go to Buffalo Wild Wings, I'm not getting the hottest flavor just because there's no. Once you get to a certain point, there's no flavor and it's all hot.
You're in luck because Torchy's balances the flavor with the spice.
It not only makes me sweat but tastes good.
Yeah, and they have options to make it spicier, so they'll bring you these little cups that's got spicy mayo in it or something all kinds of different sauces, and you can choose to put them on your tacos or what. But normally they're you can choose if you want the spicy one or not. So the really good spicy one is the brush fire.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. But if you want one that's got sausage, they have Cajun boudin Well, this one I had in Lake Charles, so it might not be everywhere, but they're different to wherever you go. So I've been to one in Colorado, I've been to one in Lake Charles, I've been to one in Tyler, Texas, I've been to one in Shreveport. They're all different. They have different menus. But the brush fire seems to be consistent, and they have a Democrat and a Republican.
Yeah.
And those are interesting too. I've tried everything on every menu I've been to. Absolutely love.
Chipotle. That's another one I haven't been to.
I don't enjoy Chipotle.
A lot of people, it got really famous for a short amount of time. And it's still famous. But a lot of people, like yourself probably, will say that Chipotle is a little overrated.
Oh, it's very overrated. I did not like it at all.
Yeah.
I got a burrito there. I don't remember what I was disappointed about standing in the line, but it was a lot of things. I was standing there and I was looking down at all the options. I was like, where is everything else? What? Yeah,
I've never been there, but I've heard their queso is pretty good. So how is their queso compared to Torchy's?
I didn't try their queso because I don't think they had any. I do know that
they were out of queso.
I didn't see any for sure. But I do know that the queso at Torchy's is
it's a top tier queso.
It is. It's not like any other queso you've had,
but it's still amazing.
It's kind of spicy a little bit.
Uh-huh.
It's they mix a bunch of different things in with it.
Yeah.
I want to say it's cotija cheese that they mix in. They mix in all kinds of greens, cilantro. I'm sure
they're trying to give it that extra punch of flavor to it.
It's almost say if you went to a Mexican restaurant and you mixed your salsa and your queso, it's almost kind of like that. Have you ever done that?
Yeah. So it's you mix your salsa and your queso,
it's got
but it's all queso for them.
It's got a little tomato in it. It's not white. It's kind of orangish.
Okay.
But it is still so good. Oh my gosh. I think about that all the time.
I need to go to Torchy's then.
I'll go with you. We can do a food review right in the Torchy's. And
take it on the road.
We'll lay out a table. We will not be able to walk out of Torchy's. I swear.
If I'm hungry, I can put away some food.
No, you can. Ooh, you can put.
It depends on how big are these tacos or.
They're not massive. They're a little bit bigger than something you'd get at Taco Bell.
Okay.
So I don't know if there's a supreme bean burrito or something like that at Taco Bell. It's probably the same size as that.
Okay. That's not too.
It's not massive.
Large,
you're not gonna.
I'm not gonna get overwhelmed with these tacos.
No, but you're definitely gonna be if you eat 2, you might get full.
Oh.
If you eat 6, you're definitely full, but you're that was good.
Yeah.
I got to try everything.
Yeah, and you're I want one more. And then you get to the point where it's okay, I feel like I'm about to throw up.
Yeah. So normally what you'll do is you do 2 tacos and a queso. That'll fill you up. That's the perfect ratio.
It's so weird.
You got chips in your tummy.
Only
you got
2 tacos.
They're
but
good.
They're packed with flavor and just have apparently not a crap ton of stuff on them or nothing, but they have quite a lot.
It's a good bit of stuff. And you can choose if you want the corn tortilla, if you want your flour tortilla. I always do the corn tortilla because that's the way the natives did it. And
it just tastes better than flour, probably.
It does. It just matches. Flour almost tastes like paper to me. I can't stand flour.
I can't. Whenever I get fajitas from a Mexican restaurant, I never use the tortillas. Yeah. I just pour queso over the whole plate and eat just the meat and onions and all that
that's
it is.
Exactly what I do.
Just as a plate. Because that's good. And, it's it's a steak, chicken, shrimp, one of them, all of them, that's my favorite thing to do is just mix some queso on it because the tortillas in a lot of places are just not good.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the floury taste to it, if it's something they put in it to make it stay together. I don't know what it is. Flour tortillas you get from Walmart, I can't I know people can just eat them things as a snack. Mm-hmm. I can't do that. The only places I was able to eat tortillas but it's because they had cheese in the middle, was Posados over in Shreveport, because they'll give them to you like as like an appetizer. Where it's like that little container, you know, and you just eat them whole. And maybe like different Mexican restaurants that have a burrito, but also I'm getting, you know, all the meat and the rice and cheese and everything instead of the tortilla. But I understand what you're saying about the flour tortilla. So I'm going to have to get a corn tortilla and just get some tortilla tacos, apparently. I mean, there's a lot of places I haven't been. Like, I really want to try Chipotle just to try it. But you're not the only person I know that has said the same thing, that you went to Chipotle, it was very underwhelming, and that Chipotle is that you consider it very overrated.
Yeah. I mean, I've grown up living in a place, well, not grown up per se, but I went to college in a place where I can walk down the road and go to the best Mexican restaurant within like 500 miles.
Yeah.
And you get like, maybe not 500, maybe 200. But you get like really conditioned to having really good food. Mm-hmm. And then you go to somewhere like Chipotle where it's like, it's a chain.
It's almost like fast food, but
yeah, so it's
in that weird
nearly
gray
like
area.
Subway-ish, but Subway's still better than Chipotle. So it's just really not it. It does not slap. I don't even think it'd be good while you're drunk. Like it's not even.
Yeah. It's just something to eat if you're literally like dying of starvation.
Yeah.
Like, I get that. There's a lot of places like that for me. Like, I mean, I don't think McDonald's is that good.
No,
like you said,
McDonald's.
like
I haven't had McDonald's in probably 10 years.
The only time I ever had McDonald's was because whenever they used to have the 24-hour breakfast, I would go get like biscuits at 11 o'clock at night because they were good. But then they got rid of it, and I was like, well, there's no reason to go to McDonald's ever again. So now it's like, if I ever go anywhere for any breakfast, I'll go I go to Sonic. I mean, I just like their bacon, egg, and cheese toaster. You know, I think that's really good. And then, like, Wendy's apparently has a pretty good breakfast menu now because it was relatively new. But, yeah, I understand what you're saying about, like, places that
let you down.
You know about them, like, very well, but you finally get to go to them, and it's like, this is what they advertise about. Like, this is it, you know. And Chipotle commercials are everywhere, you know. Like Chipotle, it's one of the top ones. I mean, we got a few here in Louisiana. I know definitely there's one around LSU campus in that area, and I've been down there a couple times and I've never gotten to go. But and then if I ever, which I mean, I would get too sidetracked because there's a crap ton of stuff to do in Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
And places to eat. I mean, I probably end up just going to walk-ons instead of Chipotle. But I always wondered, like, it's because it's like Subway, but like quote-unquote Mexican food.
Yeah.
Because it's fast food. It's because it's like Chipotle, Subway, Panda Express. They're all like that same, like, outline.
Yeah.
Of what they, like, come to this glass window and tell us what you want on your sandwich or whatever, your bowl or something. Like, Panda Express to me is alright.
Yeah.
I don't think, you know, like, some people think Panda Express is just heavenly. I think it's okay.
I feel like it's a good price for what you get.
Yeah. Like, you get a good amount of stuff.
Yeah.
And then especially if it's, like, around the Chinese New Year time, they always give you, like, a card and other kind of stuff, too.
They give you the little, the cookie.
The fortune cookie? Yeah, they give you that. And then, like, it's a cool place, you know, but, like, other than that, you know. But I did want to ask you, out of... that was the good pop of the bottle there. I did want to ask you about another restaurant real quick.
Yeah. Before
we do a little review. I wanted to ask you about steakhouses.
Yeah.
So we have a few here that are Texas Roadhouse, Logan's, and Outback. and Longhorn. Which one out of this like local area do you consider the best?
Texas Roadhouse.
And I was gonna say, why is it Texas Roadhouse? Like I've never. Well, let's add to the list. I've been to Texas Roadhouse a lot.
I've been to all of them.
I've been to Logan's. I've never been to Outback and Longhorn.
I've been to Longhorn. I put at the bottom of the damn list. I don't like Longhorn.
It's not good. Like
it's not.
Like what do? They just like burn your food?
It's almost like pretentious. Like you walk in there and they're like. It's like a modernized country. I don't even know, like they've got lighting, like recessed lighting, like where you can't see the light bulb, but you can see the light, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just like too, like you don't go to a steakhouse for it to be like advanced. You want to go in there and spit peanuts on the floor. You know? You want to get your fingers dirty eating some
you want to go into a steakhouse and feel like you're walking through those saloon double doors,
exactly.
You know, that flap open.
And that ain't what it is.
That ain't Longhorn.
Longhorn is. I'm wearing a suit. I'm fancy. I need napkins for every single finger.
Longhorn is kind of like that place from them TV shows that are like country TV shows, but it's always like a kid or a relative is a CEO of a business who wears a cowboy hat. That's for them types of people.
Exactly. I don't like Outback strictly because it's like kind of overrated just a little bit. Yeah. But like,
I always hear stuff about that like dark bread that they have, you know.
And see,
like
it's
brown,
it's
white
like,
seed bread or whatever it is.
Yeah. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
It ain't no Texas Roadhouse bread.
No, Texas Roadhouse is like, them rolls are like cotton candy.
Oh, it's so good.
Like, Logan's is up there as well, because I feel like Logan's is trying to piggyback off of Texas Roadhouse.
Logan's has got, like, wonderful prices.
And they also have the peanut thing.
Yes.
So it's like, you walk in, and if you have a peanut allergy, you're definitely just dropping dead as soon as you walk in the place.
We don't accept any weakness at Logan's Roadhouse.
And that always was weird to me because, you know, like so many places are trying to like, hey, if you have an allergy, let us know. We'll do this. And then Texas Roadhouse is like, if you have a peanut allergy, you better stay like 100 feet away from this building. Because if you walk in here, you're going to die. Like you're going to have to go to the hospital. Because as soon as you walk in, you're just hearing the crunch of the shells under your feet.
It's in the air.
Yeah, you know, it's like you can... the whole restaurant, no matter what food they bring out, is always going to smell like peanuts in there. It's just... It's like Waffle House smelling like grease every time. And like I had Waffle House last night and I brought it home. And I probably ate it within like 10 to 15 minutes. And my room smelled like Waffle House for like the next hour.
Yeah, like maple syrup.
Yeah, it just goes everywhere. Especially if you get like the hash browns as well. Because then things are just, I mean... My like I was just eating and I wasn't getting it everywhere, but it's like I felt like my whole face was just covered in grease by the time I was done, and I was not even using my hands half the time. But it was but yeah, Texas Roadhouse is just like every time we would do something for like a Father's Day or something like that, because that's where like my dad never said where he wanted to go, but we would say it was always Texas Roadhouse.
Oh yeah, like, it was.
And some people will say like Texas Roadhouse can be like a little bit on the expensive side sometimes, depending on
if you're eating for yourself, man.
That's true.
Just one person, that's a deal.
If it's a single meal, yeah. Because when was the last time I went to Texas Roadhouse?
You just don't take a girl on a date to Texas Roadhouse. That's expensive.
Oh, true. I understand that. And then you may want to get like 4 appetizers, and one of them's that dead gum onion.
If she wants something to drink,
it's like, I can't.
You're getting how many Long Island iced teas? That's like $7 a drink.
But Texas Roadhouse is like, and they got the onion, the blooming freaking onion.
I would say Outback has the same thing,
but it's not.
It ain't as good
on par with that. And does Logan have one?
I don't think so.
Because I always thought that was like a staple. Like, you got to have good steak, some type of bread, and then the onion. But Texas Roadhouse, that onion is like, I don't understand how they do it. but I love it.
Oh, I do.
I've seen like a video of them doing it. Like they'll spread it out and then they put the batter and then just kind of dump it into the fryer, you know. But
they got this like it's almost like a chopper thing. And just one chop down, you batter it up, and you just turn it upside down up into the fryer. And once it floats to the top, it's kind of goldish brown. It's ready. Oh, and it's so just magical.
Good.
It's like the birthing of a child.
The blooming onion is the miracle of life.
Exactly. When God made Adam and Eve, He also made
it was Adam, Eve, and a blooming onion. So, I mean, I kind of believe that. That was what the forbidden fruit was. Exactly. A blooming onion on a tree.
Exactly.
That they couldn't have any of it. But blooming onions, like, and the sauce with it, I don't even know what sauce that is.
Oh, I don't even need
that,
the
like,
sauce.
Orange. Well, I mean, yeah, I can eat it whole, but like sometimes I'll try, like if it's like scalding hot when it first come out, I'll just try the sauce to cool it down, and the sauce is all right. It's orange. It's not like spicy mayo, which I don't like mayo anyway, so I wouldn't eat it. But it's not ranch. And then some people said it was like somebody said it was some type of like horseradish sauce or something other, some weird thing, you know.
That would make sense
because it's orange and it's like kind of grainy type sauce. Whenever you get it, and there's just like a bunch of bits up in it, you know.
So, what's your go-to meal at Texas Roadhouse?
Well, I haven't been since before COVID.
Oh, no. I've been at least 10 times since COVID.
I haven't been since COVID started, but now it's basically over. I should go again.
I took advantage of it because nobody was going. All these old people were dying, so they didn't want to leave their houses.
And they didn't want to go to Texas.
So, like,
and it's usually a lot of old people go to Texas Roadhouse.
Definitely, they're all the cowboys and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, if they're afraid they're gonna die and they don't want to wear a mask because they're not sheep, they guide the sheep. They ain't the sheep,
and they ain't gonna go there.
They ain't gonna go there. But shoot, I could go there. No. I'm more than happy to wear a mask just to get to a table where I can eat bread endlessly all night.
Just endless baskets of bread.
Exactly. And that cinnamon butter, oh my god.
That is like, I don't understand how they do stuff at Texas Roadhouse. Like Texas Roadhouse, like they have like a science lab in the back or something. Like they don't have a kitchen, they have a lab back there.
I love
because they're creating that stuff.
You walk in and they got the steaks on display, you know.
Can you buy like raw steaks from them there, or is that just
I'm
that they
sure
show
you can?
Because I always thought it was like a store type thing in the front, like
I'm absolutely
the steaks that they would cook. I wanted like a T-bone from them or whatever, you know. But one of my go-tos, of course, the onion you gotta have, and then I'll eat like 20 rolls before the food comes out, so I'll feel full of bread and onion. And then the last thing, one of the things I got there was like this chicken breast that was covered in like fried or grilled onions and like gravy. Like that, something like that. God, that was good. Like they do steaks good and they can do chicken good. But I've had steaks from there before. But it depends on the restaurant. But I'm either medium rare or medium because you got to have some type of pink in there because I mean,
I do medium rare.
Well done is just
every time.
Well done is just a belt.
Yeah,
like that's just a leather belt that you're trying to eat because the pink is the flavor.
Unless it's a burger.
Well, true. But the pink is the flavor. Like, it's like, I don't want it to be, mooing at me when I poke a fork at it. And I don't want it, to be squirting blood back, But, like, because there are people who eat that crap, like,
raw.
Rare, almost raw. And then they'll cut it open and then just, like, a pool of blood is at the bottom of the plate now.
I don't like that because it gets if I'm eating a burger, it'll get my bread all soggy. If I'm eating a steak, it gets all of my green beans or something. It gets all of my broccoli.
And then you got blood-soaked beans or burger bun.
Yeah, I don't want that.
I do like those places that will cook hamburgers and say, do you want them, like, what kind of, how do you want it cooked? They'll ask me that when I order a burger, and I'm like, done? Like, what am I supposed to say? And then I'll say, like, medium or something, but, like, just like a little line of pink in the middle is all you need.
How would you like this burger prepared? In between the buns? I don't know.
On the grill. Like, you want me to come cook it? I mean, but yeah, like Texas Roadhouse is so they're everywhere. Like Texas Roadhouse and like Cracker Barrel are like the things you will always find on the next of an interstate and highway.
And I don't like Cracker Barrel.
You don't like Cracker Barrel?
I don't. I feel like I grew up on grandma's cooking, right?
Yeah.
And if your like whole thing is, it's like down home country cooking.
Yeah.
It's got to be better or equal to grandma's cooking.
Yeah.
And it ain't. It ain't grandma's cooking.
I guess it depends
I
on
walk in there and I'm like, oh, my grandma used to cook that. I'm gonna try it.
Yeah.
I don't. It's just disgusting.
The only thing, because I mean, I was very young and I kind of grew up eating Cracker Barrel. Because
I did too.
My mom liked it a lot, and we would go a lot of times. And I would always get chicken and dumplings with a side of chicken and dumplings because it was just this big plate of dumplings and this little bitty bowl, and then you just dump the bowl on top of the big plate, and I just eat them all up and get like mashed potatoes are good. Their biscuits, those are good, and then they have like those little like muffin looking things those are good too that they'll bring out.
And that's an old people restaurant too.
Yeah,
you go in there, say Sunday after church service.
God,
you're in there for 6 hours.
I wouldn't be surprised if you couldn't find a parking spot at that time too.
Because all the old people, they have to have room to get their wheelchairs out of their cars.
True.
This is the only place they eat.
And then, like, it'll take a while if they got, the canes and all those types of people in the walkers.
And you don't want to, like, skip them because they're walking so slow. I feel kind of bad if I'm, like, F1 racing 80-year-old, like, geriatrics to the Cracker Barrel. Like, I didn't have...
Like Fast and Furious, just race Tokyo Drift around the old
exactly
to get to the Cracker Barrel. Oh, but
Lord help you if you get distracted by the gift shop.
Yeah, I mean the only reason I would go over there. I mean, when I was younger, they had like a corner of like toys.
Toys, yep. I'd like the toys and the candy.
I did the candy too. Like nowadays, I'll go over there and see if like for this especially is the old drinks, like old like Fanta and Sunkist and all those types of drinks that are there. But yeah, it's Cracker Barrel and Texas Roadhouse are those two. That's like you'll definitely see like over half the restaurant's gonna be filled with old people.
Yeah,
but it's still like Texas Roadhouse is top tier up there. Like it's a sit down restaurant, but it's a chain. They're everywhere.
And it's always busy.
Oh, yeah. Like, it's one of those places that you don't hear about a lot, but it's always packed. And they open at, like...
4?
They open late. Like, they're not open for lunch most of the time. I feel like they are, like, maybe 1 or 2 days of the week. Like, a weekend, maybe? I don't know. It's
gotta be Sunday.
They're open from, like, 3 or 4 to 11.
Top busters out there.
Yeah. So with all of that, to get back to TGI Fridays a little bit, we have got some chips. These are potato skin chips that I got from the gas station yesterday. And there was like 4 or 5 different flavors. So we're going to be trying 2 different flavors from the TGI Fridays potato skin chips. So you got them on your side there.
Which would you like to try first?
I guess we can go with this one because I feel like the other one may be a little more tasty,
You think? I was thinking this one might be better.
Oh. Well, I think the one we have might be better, but I don't really know. So the first flavor, I've never had these before.
I haven't either. These are new to me.
Potato skin chips from TGI Fridays brand. The flavor is cheddar and bacon. And
then we also have...
The next flavor he's also opening is bacon ranch. So we're going heavy with the bacon today.
Well, it's,
Well, half their flavors was like bacon and something. Like cheddar and bacon. So one of them just got a cheesy flavor that kind of like got Dorito dust on them. And this is like nacho cheese and Cool Ranch almost.
All right.
The way you can imagine them.
But with bacon.
So cheddar and bacon. Cheers.
I mean, I'm definitely getting the bacon.
It's a chip. It's like they lightly sprinkled cheese on it.
Yeah, it's kind of like the cheese is in seltzer form, you know? They like a LaCroix. They made it in the same room as the strawberry.
Yeah, like there was cheese
in the room.
There was cheese there.
Yeah.
They made this in a room that also had cheese in it, and then they called it cheddar and bacon. It's not overpowering at all. It's very kind of underpowering when you think about it.
It's not.
It's just all skin, like just potato skin chip.
There's a lot of crunch.
Yeah, it's very crunchy.
I bet this would be really good to eat some like queso with. Because they're not going to break under the weight of the queso.
Yeah, they're not thick, but they're very rigid.
They're very strong.
Yeah. So like on the scale, which is 0 to 100 with no decimals, and we'll average our scores together, where would you rate the cheddar and bacon potato skin chips? Because they're not bad.
They're not.
Because I would rate them definitely above a 50.
Yeah.
But not above an 80.
Here, let's see. Oh, those are stuck together.
Like, where do you feel between 0 to 100?
I'm going to give it a 66.
Okay. I was thinking in that same area. I was honestly thinking of 68, so we can just 67. Mm-hmm. Just average those together. So, well, it's like the 60s for me is always like in that area of like it's good. It doesn't make me gag, and it doesn't make me want to throw up.
Yeah.
But it's one thing that if I see it, I probably wouldn't get it again.
Yeah. You'd eat the bag if you did get it.
If I got it as like a gift, or like somebody went in the gas station and got it for me and was like, "Hey, I want you to try these," and I was like, "Oh, I've had them before," and I would eat the whole bag.
Yeah.
But
like, you're not going out of your way. Oh, I'm headed.
I'm going to get the cheddar and bacon Fridays potato skin chips
style snack crisps.
Yeah, so 67. They're not bad. So bacon ranch. You think these are going to be better?
I hope so.
Oh, very ranch forward.
Yeah, they are. I'm not a huge ranch fan.
Like Cool Ranch?
Ooh, I don't like it.
Oh God.
It's not ranchy either.
Oh, the longer you chew it, it tastes more burnt.
Yeah.
You feel that?
No, it definitely tastes burnt.
And these are not burnt at all. Like, these are very white. They have... The thing is, like Cool Ranch, that's its own flavor. This feels like they took
it's not Cool Ranch.
It tastes like they sprinkled the ranch seasoning on it.
There's not even... I'm like... It might be there's too much bacon. Because I'm not tasting the bacon, and I'm not tasting the ranch. I'm tasting
burnt.
Yeah,
it feels like they did.
I feel like I'm not going to be able to go to work today because my breath is going to stink so bad after this.
Are you tasting any garlic? Is there a garlicky or oniony taste to it? Because there's a weird taste to it. I don't know what's in it. On the nutritional facts here. I want to keep eating them, but I think it's the bacon doing that to me, you know? Because,
garlic powder, onion powder, tomato powder.
Oh. Tomato powder.
Turmeric extract?
Turmeric. I think they put too much garlic and onion powder.
Adds a trivial amount of added sugars. Is what it says.
Is that why it's not good? It's very sugar forward.
I don't know.
How many grams of sugar would it say?
What
does it say?
It says adds. Maybe trivial means not a lot.
A trivial amount.
I would have used a different word than trivial.
That's.
It's 0 grams of sugar.
Okay. So they put less than...
Let me try it again.
They put less than a gram of sugar to try to give it for flavor, but they didn't put enough. See, it's got the green, celery-looking things from, Cool Ranch.
Yeah.
But it's got all this yellow crap on it, too.
Let's do this right here.
Oh, we stacking cheddar and bacon and ranch? Oh. That's so weird.
Yeah. I don't think it makes it any better.
No, it just did. I can taste everything. So with the bacon ranch, what are you thinking right here?
34.
So
it's not making me puke. I feel like puking is in like the 20 ranges.
Yeah, puking and gagging is when you get like 30 and below.
Mm-hmm.
But like in this area is like not good, and don't want it anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want it to go away.
Like well, I mean,
maybe I'll give it a 36.
Like these are different than like a drink for me too. Like if it's a bad chip, is just I don't want it anymore. A bad drink is like I got to spit this out right now. You know, like it's totally because the drink, it'll coat your whole mouth, but this seasoning is just not good. I was gonna give it a 42 is what I was gonna do. I did that wrong.
I'm just like
that's an average of a 39.
I'm unable to find how people would like that. Like somebody made that, right? Somebody was like, they tasted that and they was like, that's a good flavor. We should sell that.
The TGI Fridays kitchen and team okayed this. Mm-hmm. Unless this is just a weird or wrong bag. Because these are all just manufactured anyway. Well, maybe they put a little bit too much or not enough. Some type of powder or seasoning or flavor or whatever. But it has this weird... Like, I understand, like, if you have no taste buds at all, like if you're really old and you lost your taste, these are really good if you want something crunchy. Like, they have the extra crunch than, like, a Doritos. Like, they're up there with, like, those, like... Those, what is it? Like the Frito Scoops that are really crunchy too, Yeah. They're up there in the crunch. But flavor-wise... See, like, the other day I got these, and my dad said that he had a bunch of different flavors of these. And I didn't... And he said that some of them were good, but not a lot of them. He said these were definitely the type of chip that you just grab from the gas station and work while you're working outside. Like if you feel that, like, oh, I'm burning up, I need me a water and TGI Fridays chips. Because he said he used to eat them while working. But I don't want it anymore, but I keep eating them.
Yeah, that's the same problem I'm having.
Yeah.
Like, maybe it's
because they're there. And yeah, it's also like 11:30.
It's almost lunchtime.
Yeah. So, cheddar and bacon with a 67 and bacon ranch with a 39. Like, they're not bad.
But I'm going to brush my teeth when I
But they're not good. Bacon ranch is I'm definitely going to be tasting that tonight. Just randomly. Because, like, that's how, like, whenever I put onions on a Subway sandwich, and I just say, they put so much.
It's all onion. That's all you taste. Even if you get one onion. Like, I don't even ask for onions, but if they accidentally, like, dropped an onion in the lettuce,
one little sliver of a piece of onion.
The whole sandwich. The whole entire foot long. All 57 feet of my foot long tastes like onion. I don't know how that works.
I don't know. I don't understand it either. It's like the onion just touches it and then it just infects the rest of the sandwich.
It does. It's like onions are the zombies of plant world. You know?
Yeah, because that's the way it is with like flavor too.
That's a good title. Onions are
the zombies
of the plant world.
Of the plant world. Onions are the zombies. The plant.
Yeah, no, that is the weirdest phenomenon, and I'm gonna go to Subway after this. That's a great idea.
I'm
not getting any onions.
I got Subway. Well, you don't know.
I don't know.
You won't know until you taste it, and then you're like, "Dang it! Somebody dropped one onion in here."
But I can legitimately bite one end of the sandwich, and the onion be all the way on the other end,
and be able to like, I dropped an onion somewhere on this.
And you don't know until you actually get the onion.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh.
Because onions, like, they have a specific flavor, of course, with the juice when you take a bite of it, but it's got a specific crunch too. Mm-hmm. Like onions, like you said, they're like the zombie of the plant world, because as soon as they touch something, that's going to taste like onion now. Mm-hmm. See, because I get chicken bacon ranch, and it's got, of course, the little like long cube chicken. Yeah. The bacon. It's got the peppercorn ranch, which is really good from Subway, their type of ranch. And I get salt and pepper and onions. Basic. I'm one who's not much for any greens on my Subway sandwich. But if you ask just for regular onions like I do on the app, it feels like they just slice up a whole onion and put it on there because there's so much onion.
You can't do onions.
And it just tastes like I just have an onion sandwich with ranch on it. That's all it tastes like.
I normally get the foot-long spicy Italian urban cheese bread, pepper jack cheese, not toasted, with lettuce, pickles, black olives, and jalapenos. I want a lot of black olives, and I want a lot of jalapenos. I want it to be spicy, but the black olives, it's a taste that takes away spice, so it like balances out. And I just love black olives. Yeah. So I wish they gave me the same amount of black olives that they would with like onions. And then I get a little bit of Parmesan cheese on there. Okay. So I got 4 toppings, not including the bread and and bread, cheese, and the meat. And that Parmesan cheese just ties it all together. One onion, it's ruined. Like,
one onion, it's just like, this is onion flavor now. This is an onion sandwich. It's such a phenomenon. Like, it's so weird. Like, Subway just has like engineered onions that just have so much flavor.
I mean, but that's why they hurt your eyes when you're cutting them up. Yeah. Because all those juices just go everywhere. Yeah. And anything they touch tastes like onion.
It tastes like onion. And then it burns your eyes. Like, God forbid, I've cut up onions and have a cut on my hand, and then onion getting in there feels like I'm just gonna die.
You are,
because I'm turning into onion now because they're zombie. It's the onion virus. But yeah, so 67 cheddar and bacon, 39 bacon ranch. We're done with that. We'll try onions next time.
Yeah. Straight onions.
We'll review some onions. So with all the food talk out of the way now and the review done, wanted to go ahead real quick and talk about some news that just happened that is in the entertainment world, of course, with the Joker movie.
Yeah.
So the Joker movie starring Joaquin Phoenix, great movie, came out a few years ago. Really well done. It's rated R, of course. Really great movie in that Logan type, type of movie. So the Joker 2, the sequel, I talked about last week, has been announced already. But apparently, Joker 2 is going to be a musical. And it's rumored that Harley Quinn is going to be played by Lady Gaga. What do you think about that?
I just can't help but wonder. Like, is it going to be Joaquin singing? Like, is the Joker going to be up there just, like, singing his little heart out, dancing in the rain, singing in the rain? Or is it like... What was that movie called that Lady Gaga did with...
Bradley Cooper?
Yeah. Like, is it going to be similar to that? A Star is Born? Or what was it?
It was A Star is Born.
Is it, like... Am I gonna cry? I don't
know. I feel like it's gonna be like a love story between them two, and it's not gonna be like a dance. They're not gonna be. It's not like Greatest Showman or nothing. Not. It's not gonna be anything like that. Or any of those musicals where they dance. I don't think. No, I think it's just gonna be. It's gonna be a movie. And the story is going to be told from his perspective. And his weird perspective is going to be a musical. Like, it's going to be him jumping around shooting people while he's singing. Like, if they keep it rated R, of course. And it's the same director, and Joaquin is still the Joker. But They're going to figure out other stuff. How long after does this take place from the first one? If he's in the prison, like at the end, then we'll see Harley as Doctor before she turns into Harley Quinn. So that's how they can do it when she was Dr. Quinzel, when she was there. And then she'll fall in love with the Joker and all that kind of stuff. I think that might be the way that they go with it.
Okay.
And then if they just tell it from his perspective, because, the Joker's a weird guy, and they say about what happens and what this is and him killing people and all that kind of stuff and fall in love, then, yeah, it's a weird choice to make it a musical, but it adds to it. Mm-hmm. It's going to add to the insanity to make it a musical, to make him singing about anything he does, and trying to fall in love and all that kind of stuff too. So that's why I think I'm going to watch it, because I'm going to be so intrigued. I am now. If they just said it was the sequel to the Joker, had a story, all that kind of stuff, I still would have watched it. But now that they're saying Lady Gaga is going to be Harley in a musical, I'm so confused.
It's unusual.
Yeah. Sure. Hey, we're going to have a live-action Joker movie, but it's a musical.
Imagine Ben Affleck's Batman, but it's a musical, right?
Yeah.
It's just, wow. I don't know if that's going to be as good as they think it is, but it could be.
If they just go all out with it and make it as weird and disturbing as they want, because it's the Joker, and if they're like I said, telling it from his perspective, his mind, therefore, what if it's like a musical and he thinks that they're singing, but it's just his mind doing that and they're not actually singing at all?
Yeah. They could be capitalizing on the stair scene where the music is playing, he's dancing.
That's what I think they're doing.
Because people like that. That was an iconic scene.
It's a meme. It's just him.
That might be bring Morbius back to this theater.
All right, I want to talk about that. So
we were busy the first time. So
Joker 2 will be a musical. So Morbius.
Yeah.
Did you watch Morbius?
No, I didn't.
You have not seen Morbius. Okay. Well, did I tell you the end credits and all of that?
Yeah.
Okay. That was you. I told you. Yeah. About Vulture showing up, which, it's not really spoilers anymore, but the movie sucks anyway. The movie was so not good. It's such a below average movie.
Yeah.
Because it's it's a little less than 2 hours long. It has, it's Morbius, it's Jared Leto, whatever, and then they said he's starred in the worst Marvel and the worst DC movie ever made, because he was Joker in the original Suicide Squad movie. But I didn't even talk about this. That because it was such a meme and making it's Morbin time and all that kind of stuff. And he never said that. He never said that in the movie. And then they said that it got so famous that Sony put it back in theaters for a weekend. They put it in about 1,000 theaters, and it only made $85,000, which is bad. And they said, so if it's $8.50 usually average for a movie ticket, that means only what? How much would that be? One person per theater?
Yeah. Somewhere in there.
At least, they've said, it was either 1,000 or 100 theaters, I think. But they said it would have averaged anywhere between 1 to 10 people per theater to see Morbius. And then now there's a new petition going saying that people have started that they want more. That they said we were all busy that weekend to put Morbius back in theaters for a third time because they want it. And then what the plan is, I think, is that they're just going to put it back in theaters and then nobody's going to go see it, and they're going to make it bomb again, and they're making Sony just lose money. And then people were they said that Sony it was rumored that they were going to make Morbius 2 just because they saw how it was trending for like 2 weeks straight on Twitter. And then they said people were all worried, like, no, please don't make a sequel. We're just joking. And then,
what if they put it into the theaters the third time and it becomes the biggest box office hit of all time?
That's just the other meme, because they're like, oh yeah, Morbius has made $17 billion at the box office.
It's in its 7th consecutive year in theaters, and people keep seeing it.
They got that petition going. A lot of people have signed it too to get it back in theaters for a third time. And then there was that video,
including me.
There was a video that Jared Leto posted that either his wife or somebody was walking up to him and he was reading a script and she was like, "What are you reading?" And he kept trying to hide it from her, and then he showed her and it said Morbius 2, it's Morbin time. That's what the sequel would be called. But I mean, he's going to be in other stuff because, I mean, he's a Spider-Man villain and he's teaming up with Vulture, and that's why they're thinking, like, if it's going to be in the Amazing Spider-Man universe, you know, or whatever, because that's where he might be. I don't know. I don't know what they're going forward with the Morbius movie. They're going to make a Madam Web movie with, what's her name, that's going to be in it? The girl from 50 Shades of Grey. She's Madam Dakota Johnson, is that her name?
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
She's going to be in it, a Sony Marvel movie. And Sony Marvel movies are just a weird thing. I don't know what... They don't really know what they're doing. I don't know what they're doing. They don't either. They're trying to capitalize on the Marvel stuff they've got, but if they keep losing money, because they're trying to make movies just not to sell it to Disney, is what it is. They're trying to keep up with not having... to keep up the name of it, that way the price point won't go down.
I almost want Sony to go out of business. Like, I want people to gaslight them so much that they run into the ground, because they're
the Marvel movies they do are not that good. I don't know any other movies that they do, really. The only thing is that...
That's all they had was Spider-Man in the early 2000s. Yeah. So they tried their best. They got
They did good with the
Tobey Maguire ones.
And then the 2 Amazing Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
And then they've worked with the Tom Holland movies because they're not on Disney Plus. So they still own the rights. Because they said...
But they're difficult to work with.
Within the same 4 months, they put out the worst and one of the best Marvel movies ever. They did No Way Home, and then 3 months later, they did Morbius.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's what like, Disney is not... I'm not giving them much credit, you know, because, you know, like, Disney, they always in it for the money, and they're taking over the world and all that kind of stuff. But in this situation, Disney can buy Sony's production... Because, I mean, I don't think they can buy Sony as a whole, because Sony sells all those TVs, cameras, and also Sony is in charge of making PlayStation.
Yeah.
So then I said it would be kind of weird to have a Disney PlayStation.
Yeah.
Because if they bought every bit of Sony, they would have that. And that's what's keeping Sony afloat, is all their electronic stuff, because their movies aren't that good, and they make some of the best games ever. I mean, they make, you know, the Spider-Man game, God of War, Days Gone, they make and The Last of Us, they make all of those games. But movie-wise, I don't know what they're doing.
I feel like a lot of what it is they're letting the higher ups sort of control the direction
the
of the
Sony
movies.
Executives.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, they're not letting it. That's just what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like,
because like with Marvel, the Disney executives are in charge, but Kevin Feige is the one who calls all the shots.
They sort of leave it to him, and they're like,
they've seen what he's done, and they know he's
continuity to his direction,
and he's capable of doing that.
Yeah, he's always gonna, like, you know, sort of follow like a linear progression in his movies. He's not going to make a movie that just doesn't make sense in comparison to another one. Sony's made how many different Spider-Mans? Like,
they made the 3 Tobey Maguire movies. They made the Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. They made Venom 1 and 2.
Yeah.
They made Morbius. They are now going to do Madam Web.
And there's
they're doing Kraven, the Kraven movie, which is the guy who played Quicksilver in Age of Ultron is going to be Kraven. So, like, their movies are, like, the Venom movies aren't that bad.
No.
But it's like, and like, of course, like Tobey Maguire movies, you know, they're up there. And the reason Marvel is famous is because of, like, the X-Men movies and the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies. That's where Marvel really started.
X-Men was Sony too, right?
That was Fox.
Fox. Because
Disney bought them. Because Fox.
Yeah, you're right.
Fox was X-Men and the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
So that's when they bought 20th Century Fox, and that's why, of course, which we haven't talked about it, but that's why John Krasinski's Mr. Fantastic was in Doctor Strange and all of that happened, and that's why Black Bolt was he Fox? Because what channel was I'm not going to know this, but the Inhumans TV show, I don't remember what channel that was on.
No clue.
Probably like CBS or something weird. But that show sucked, of course, because I tried to watch it and I'd never finished it and I don't even remember what it was about. But Anson Mount, the actor, is Black Bolt. Mm-hmm. I only remember him because he was on that TV show that was really good called Hell on Wheels, which was really good. Like an AMC show, I think. But, which we can go ahead and get into the Disney Marvel stuff. So you never saw all of Moon Knight yet.
No.
I think it is pretty good. It is up there. It's really well done. Mm-hmm. Like the way that it all happens and him blacking out and stuff like that. It's doesn't really connect to the MCU at all. That's why they said that Ethan Hawke and Oscar Isaac really wanted to do it, because it's kind of its own thing right now. It has its own story, but if you know kind of the story of the characters of Moon Knight and all that it does follow along with that, and the ending is pretty good. It's up there with Falcon and the Winter Soldier show, because, I mean, that show is still considered one of the best as well. And me personally, my personal favorite either is Loki or What If, because they're so unique, and I like the multiversal type stuff, like Multiverse of Madness, Doctor Strange, which you have seen. And what did you think of that movie?
It wasn't like, I wasn't a huge fan of it. Like, I enjoyed it. I didn't see it more than once. Like Spider-Man, I think I saw it 7 times. Like, I really like Spider-Man. But
is that the one you've seen the most in theaters, probably? Out of all the Marvel movies?
Probably. Maybe close to Avengers Endgame.
I mean, that kind of makes sense, honestly.
Yeah, I think that might be the one I've seen the most. But, I didn't need to see Doctor Strange more than once. So I was like, all right.
It was one of those movies where I got... it was a lot, but if you understand multiverse theory and all that kind of stuff, you'll understand, and you know who the characters are, you know what's happening.
Yeah.
It had cool moments.
Yeah.
I think it was a good movie. I don't think it wasn't bad.
No.
I said it was very much like a middle to like right above average Marvel movie, because it, in my opinion, like when I compare it to the others, I think it wouldn't be in my top 3, maybe top 5 or 6, but towards the bottom of the list, because I just liked it because of it was good story. I liked it with what all that it did and the storytelling and the Illuminati scene and all that, and then the effects and the way they pulled it off. It was very violent for a Marvel movie. I mean, the whole scene where he turned into the dead Doctor Strange, with half of his, like he was Two-Face, half of his face gone, and then there was so much blood, because they are catering the Marvel movies that are more violent nowadays to the people like us who grew up watching Iron Man and Captain America movies and all that. Because, I mean, the first movie Iron Man and the Incredible Hulk came out in 2008. We were like 8 years old.
Yeah.
So it's like now here we are in 2022, being in our 20s, and they're like trying to cater that to keep us watching while trying to bring in the younger audience as well with like your Miss Marvel and all that kind of stuff. But it was good. I think the Illuminati scene and all that is, of course, my favorite.
Yeah.
Because, you had John Krasinski, Mr. Fantastic. The crowd lost it in my theater for that. Because he was like the smartest man alive, and Reed Richards, and then that like TVA type technology, but blue, and he showed up, and people were like, yeah, and all that, and then Professor X in his gold chair or whatever, because that's supposed to be like Professor X from the X-Men 90s show.
Yeah.
Not exactly him. It's a different universe, because they think that's how the X-Men is going to be introduced, is from the animated show, and then bring them into the live action with that, because they're not going to be in the MCU universe. Because I guess X-Men is going to be in a universe that doesn't have the Avengers, is what is considered, I think, in that X-Men and all of them are taking the place of the Avengers. Because they said that's if they ever want to do a movie, Avengers versus X-Men.
Yeah.
Ever later, because that was a whole comic series about the Avengers and the X-Men meeting and seeing which team is better, and the X-Men I feel like have 40 different people they can work with. They got a whole squad. I did see a rumor, or I did see, not a rumor, but I did see something that they said that should be a what if, is that what if that Wanda that she took over went back and then had to fight or deal with the rest of the people that were left over after the Illuminati dead, But quite violent.
It was.
Like cutting Captain Carter in half.
Yeah.
And the whole Black Bolt yelling and blowing his own brains up.
Yeah.
Was like... And then she like full on paper shredded Mr. Fantastic. And then his head exploded. Like that was... I wouldn't say uncalled for, but it was something that I did not expect happen.
Yeah, I did not either.
Yeah, but in the end, she crushed the big castle-type tower building on herself. She's not dead. She's definitely not dead. She survived all of what she has. I don't think one building falling on her is going to kill her, Yeah. She's just in hiding right now. I definitely think... Well, at the end, the end credit scene that we saw... The one with Charlize Theron. I did not know who she was at first, but looking up, doing a little research, is that I don't remember her name. I think it's Clea. Is that it? Something like that.
In the comics, he gets married to her.
Yeah, but she's also like a sorceress witch type person. But she showed up and then they went into some realm or something, and then he popped that third eye out there.
I want to say she's what was Dormammu? I want to say she's Dormammu's daughter.
Her name is Clea. She is from the Dark Dimension. Her father is Prince Orini.
Oh, okay.
Something to do with Dormammu.
Yeah, she's from the Dark Dimension, is what it is. Okay. Prince Orini and Faltine, who got married or had a kid, which was Clea, her mother... Her uncle is Dormammu.
Oh, okay.
Her mother, who was Faltine, is the sister of Dormammu, is what it was. So that's why she's from the Dark Dimension and has dark magic, is because Dormammu is literally her. She's Uncle Dormammu, who she's related to. So I think they'll touch on that probably in the third movie. I think because. It'll be... they're definitely going to make another one because now he kind of has a new story now.
Yeah.
Because all that is done. I don't know if you knew this, but one of the scenes that Doctor Strange and America Chavez were bouncing through, going through like 20 of them at one time. One of them, for a split second, I think, was Star Wars, that they bounced through that universe because Disney owns all that, of course. They said They said it was. I don't know. It wasn't confirmed. I'd have to. It comes to Disney Plus on the 22nd of June. So I'll have to look and see if it is. But apparently, it was rumored, and some people say that if you slowed it down, it was like the first battle of the Death Star was in the background. So that it was not really. They're not going to connect them, but they said that was like a nice little Easter egg for that Feige wanted to have.
Yeah.
Because there was that whole comic book series that Luke Skywalker was an Avenger at some point.
I want that.
That they
we'll never have it, but I want that.
It was like Luke. I don't know when it happened. It was like after Episode 5, right before 6, when he was becoming a full Jedi, joining like Tony Stark and the Avengers.
I want Obi-Wan Kenobi in there. Speaking of which,
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
The Kenobi Show.
Talk about a good show. So I understood, and now I definitely know when they compared it to the Joker and Logan, that this was like, we all know how his story starts and how his story ends, but this big middle section that's 30 years long or 20 to 30 years of how it happens, So this takes place 5 years. We're not going to give too much. We're going to talk about spoilers here in a minute, but it takes place 5 years after the events of Order 66. That's where it starts.
Is it 5 or 9?
I thought it was 5.
Is it? Leia can't be 5. I feel like she's 9.
Is she?
I want to say it was 9 years after Order 66, and then it was another 10 years until the first Star Wars movie.
I'm Googling it right now. Confirmation. Ugh. That's okay. I did not spell something right. Obi-Wan Kenobi is set 10 years after the events of Revenge of the Sith.
Okay.
And so, yeah, that makes sense now. I thought they said 5, but it makes sense because of their age. I didn't even think about like Luke and Leia and all that. Obi-Wan is also set a year after the Han Solo movie. That happened a year before the show actually started, you know. Also, around the same time was when the Jedi Fallen Order video game is also set at the same time.
Yes.
So
I love that they're connecting.
Yeah, a lot of stuff is happening at the same point. We're getting in that area where they're filling up that void, which of course that new game was announced. Star Wars Jedi Survivor is what it's called. This is going to be really good, coming out next year. But Kenobi, we're going to go ahead and talk about spoilers. So if you haven't seen the newest episode, go ahead and go watch it real quick. So spoilers for Kenobi. So I knew it was going to be good. And when the first episode came out, it was 2 episodes that came out together, Binge watched both of them, of course, because you got to. It's Kenobi, he's Obi-Wan. He's one of, if not the best Jedi ever to be, because of episodes 1, 2, and 3, and his whole story being expanded on and making them seem more real from the Clone Wars series, from seeing him and then that like attraction that he had with that lady on the planet Mandalore and all that. So it's like, it gives him a sense of that this is a man. He's still a person, even though he has the Force and he's a great Jedi. But he, like at the beginning of this show, he's like such a wimp because he kind of just cut himself off from the Force because he knew that he failed Anakin and he thought he killed him. And that was a point that a lot of people was confused about that we never knew. that was never explained before. That did Kenobi think that Anakin died? Did he know who Darth Vader was? And does Darth Vader remember who Kenobi is? Because it depends on how much the Emperor wiped his mind or turned him to the dark side and all that.
Well, all of this is in the canon comics.
Yeah.
So if you have read the comics are kind of what they base this show on.
Yeah.
So, when he's in the cave and he's having the dreams or he's trying to get Qui-Gon to talk to him.
Yeah.
In the comics, Qui-Gon does talk to him.
Okay.
And Qui-Gon, I believe this is right. Qui-Gon's the one that tells him that Anakin's still alive.
Okay.
But we haven't seen any Qui-Gon talking.
No, he's tried to in the caves. He in that first 1 or 2 episodes, he kept calling for his master,
But I feel like if they have talked about it, they've already he's trying to talk to Qui-Gon, he's got to be able to talk to him.
Liam Neeson's showing up in the next episode.
He is got to.
He got to be there.
There's no way. I can't imagine why they would even do that if he wasn't going to be in the last episode. Because especially in the 5th episode, they've they've gone hard
with the flashbacks.
Hardcore.
The funny thing was, I started the episode and I was on my phone at first, and I was on my phone just doing stuff, and I heard both of them talking to each other. And I was like, what? And then I looked at it, and you can tell, it's them now, because you can tell they're a little older. You can tell with Hayden,
but
his
face. It's still, you're immersed.
It's it's Kenobi and Anakin, Exactly. It's them together.
But the reason this episode feels like it's completely different from, the rest of the series is because it's written by a different director, or a different writer.
Yeah.
I want to say, his name is Joby, who has written all of the other episodes that are it's okay.
Yeah.
The other guy that wrote this one, I want to say his name is Andrew. Andrew something. Shoot.
He knew what he was doing. Because you can tell this guy was a big fan.
It was masterful. They would go back and forth between
and it made it seem like Vader was remembering those flashbacks of dueling Kenobi.
But what it was so in the duel you would have this pendulum swing. So at one point Anakin would have the advantage and he would be say beating down on Obi-Wan. Well, then it would go to Obi-Wan in present day where he is going through it. He's I got to figure out how to get these people out of here. It's something like that.
Yeah.
And then it would swing back and forth, and Obi-Wan would have the advantage. Then it would show Vader as Obi-Wan has the advantage.
Yeah.
And it would go through that, and then it would go right back, and then right back. And it would go back and forth to where whoever has the advantage, the other person is the next person.
And it was showing everybody involved in the entire thing, whether it was the whole Kenobi-Anakin duel, and then going back and forth with Kenobi and Vader in present day, and showing Reva trying to get into the base as well with the Empire. So it was so...
Some Order 66 scenes in there.
You can tell that...
Whoever wrote that...
is a big fan.
Really, they are.
You can tell, this Andrew guy that you said is the writer, that... You can tell when somebody knows the source material and loves what the story is by the way that an episode is written.
Now, I will say that, just credit to the guy who's been writing them. All of the episodes follow each episode of the Skywalker saga. So, the first episode follows sort of, the same theme of, the first prequel, right? So, each episode does that with the episodes of the original trilogy, or not the original trilogy, the prequels and the
prequels and the OG.
Yeah. So you can watch these episodes and they have the same they
have that same feeling and tone of it.
It's almost the same plot.
Yeah.
I'm
Episode 1's the Phantom Menace. He's trying to talk to his master. Episode 2 was Attack of the Clones, and then in that second episode was when he What happened in the second one?
That's what I'm trying to remember. I want to pull examples from it, but I know this is a fact. Like, when I'm watching the episodes, I'm like, oh, that happened in, like, Revenge of the Sith. Like, that was, like, the third episode is when Vader and Obi-Wan are fighting, right?
The third one was when he fought, and then Vader threw him in the fire and feel my pain,
exactly.
and all that happened.
That's Revenge of the Sith. So,
and then at the end, they were having to try and heal Kenobi,
exactly,
like how Emperor was building Vader with Anakin. Yeah, it was just swapped.
Every one of those episodes follows like the movies.
Yeah.
The fifth one, I got a lot of the one where they were stuck on. It was the newer trilogy where they were stuck in the cave
on that salt.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of that.
Yeah,
but like I. What is it? This is the fifth episode, so the equivalent of that was A New Hope?
No, the last one. Well, the fifth was Empire Strikes Back,
so
but
Empire
also
Strikes Back.
It had because they all had that same feeling. Empire Strikes Back and The Last Jedi.
Yeah,
because of being like on Hoth, they were stuck and they come after them, and then Vader was bouncing up through the hallways on Hoth to come up in there.
Yeah,
kind of the same way. Also with Crate. When they were in The Last Jedi on that salt planet with those like salt crystal cat looking thing, you know, and that's whenever Ghost Luke fought Kylo out on the salt field.
Mm-hmm. But now, so this last episode, it's got to follow the last one of
Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, the original trilogy.
Yeah. So
you can pretty much tell what's going to be going on.
Yeah, it's going to be the big final battle and then a good ending. Well, we know Vader and Kenobi, both of them don't die, so something's going to happen.
Even still, you've also got, like, they're putting the new trilogy in there, too, because it's just like with whatever, I don't know the names of the newer trilogy. They weren't a huge fan.
Force Awakens,
where they
Last
were running
Jedi.
From, like, the massive new...
That was The Last Jedi when they were running away from Snoke and they couldn't get away from him
because like they have no fuel.
Yeah.
But their hyperdrive's out in the new Kenobi movie, so they're not going to be able to run.
Yeah, and Star Destroyers are just going to chase them down, and
But we've also got Reva, she already knows who Owen is. She knows there's a boy on Tatooine, and it's Luke. And
Kenobi felt it.
Yeah.
He's back with the Force, and he's feeling it, you know.
She knows that she's got to go to Owen.
I think, like you said earlier, it's going to be a longer episode because there's got to be another...
It's rumored to be...
Vader and Kenobi fight.
An hour and a half long.
Like, if they board the ship and Kenobi's like, I'll let them take me in, and then we can have Kenobi and Vader have a full-fledged fight on a Star Destroyer, you know. I think, John Williams, you know, he said that he's 90 years old now, but he said he's so happy to do this because he never wrote something for Obi-Wan, you know. You said that a while back. So it's like, there's something big happening. And like if you said if it mirrors Return of the Jedi, there was the Battle of Death Star 2, and also the big Luke and Vader fight with the Emperor watching. So, I think towards the end of this, they were building the Death Star at this point too, because it wasn't built yet. Because
I think they were.
At the very end of episode 3 was when it showed them building it, when they were standing there and they had Star Destroyers basically being like helicopters bringing in parts to build the Death Star, because they had to build it out in space, of course. But it wasn't like fully operational, because I feel like the first shots that they ever did was the Rogue One movie, because they didn't have a full planet destroying, because that's whenever they just shot like one city and just blew it off the planet, you know. So, I think it'll show the Death Star at the end.
See, but the only thing with that is...
Because it's got to lead up to Episode 4, which happens in another 15, 20 years after this point.
But when Luke and Obi-Wan and Han Solo, they all go to the Death Star the first time...
Yeah.
I don't know if Obi-Wan already knew what the Death Star was. He's the one that says, that's no moon.
True. He may not see it, you know.
I don't know.
Unless they take like an injured Darth Vader back there to try to heal him or something, because he's got to get in that water tank.
He might go back to Mustafar, because that's where his
castle's there. But the Inquisitor thing is on the water planet. I always thought they put the Inquisitor fortress on Camino, is what I used to think, but it's not raining all the time. Because it rains every day on Camino. But they don't even use that planet anymore, you know. In the Bad Batch, they got rid of all that. They destroyed the clone facility because they didn't want clones anymore. They wanted real people, and that's why the Stormtroopers suck at aiming at anything. They can't shoot anybody. But, yeah, like this last episode, like one of my favorite parts was definitely the Darth Vader and Reva fight that they had. And then he was, like... I said this.
Playing with her.
Ticked off Vader is the best Darth Vader. Because him getting mad like he did in the last other episode when he ran up in there and started choking her and yelling at her, you know. Because he's such a great villain.
He was playing with her the entire time.
Yeah, he knew.
He always knew that
she knew he was Anakin.
Yeah, and that she was hunting him.
Yeah. Because he can feel, he can hear heartbeats and feel your emotions.
Yeah.
And so whenever he would come in a room, he'd probably feel that she was getting angry at him, you know. So it's like, he knew.
And
he remembers stuff as Anakin still.
That's why he took it so easy on her, because they needed her for her sort of drive to find Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
But after they found him, they didn't need her anymore.
Yeah.
And so he was just toying with her.
Yeah.
Especially in the fight.
She was he was letting her get wore out.
He didn't even ignite his own lightsaber.
No, it was on his waist, you know, his belt the entire time, because he got up in there and it showed off how powerful he really is. Because the ship was taken, he literally moves his hand barely up any and he catches the whole ship.
He
brings it down and rips the wall out and look, and then they were on the other one the entire time, you know, and they left. I thought he was about to grab it or something, you know, but then she come up behind him and he's like, doesn't even have to move hardly anything to be able to use the Force to stop her, because he just keeps his arm. He's so stiff too. And then they were fighting and he's just dodging with just moving his shoulders and ducking and moving and everything. It looked like a dance off almost. But like you said, he literally she was spinning it and then he just stopped it like that. It just felt like a video game fight is what it felt like. And then he just he tore it in half and then handed her one. And I was like, he's not honorable, but he wanted her to fight. He wanted her to prove herself basically against him. Because he's not... he's just such a top-tier villain. He's up there in that Thanos area of villains, you know, because he's so smart and that he's got this scariness to him that people said when they watched the original movies that he was one of the... Like, it's not a scary movie, but he's a scary villain.
Yeah.
Because of just... He's like 8 feet tall when he's fighting her too. Because Anakin got all cut up like above the knees, and both his arms are basically cut off. He's just a torso and a head and everything, you know. So it's like they made his legs longer, and apparently that is Hayden under the mask.
It is.
So it's like, and he does have a stunt double for some of those fights, I think. But Vader doesn't have to do much moving anyway, because he don't hardly bend, you know. But he fought her. I thought when he got both of them, I thought he was going to Count Dooku her with both of those lightsabers. But he just right in their gut. The best part about lightsabers, you don't bleed out because it cauterizes the wound because it's so hot. You know, like when he got his hand cut off and all that. You know. But the Grand Inquisitor, he's back. He didn't die.
Vengeance does a lot for the will to live.
Yeah. That's what he said, and it's kind of like, it reminds me of how like Rey in the newer movies was able to heal with the Force. It's kind of the same thing with, if you're really truly powerful with the dark side, you get so angry and vengeful that you'll just heal because you're so ticked off and you are real powerful with the dark side. I mean, you knew the Grand Inquisitor had to live for the Rebel show. Also, because it's been rumored that since it's the most watched show on Disney Plus ever, it had the biggest premiere on Disney Plus out of any other show that has ever been premiered on Disney Plus. More than any Marvel show and other Star Wars show, because the number one was like one of the Mandalorian seasons for a while. It's been rumored that season 2 might be a thing, because Disney, I think, wants to cash in on it. Both Ewan McGregor and Hayden want to come back and play their characters, and he thinks that there's more story to tell in this point. I think that, like you said, Qui-Gon, played by Liam Neeson, is going to show up in the next episode. I honestly think if they do an end credit scene, that Darth Maul might be in it, because he's still alive at this point. I think Mace Windu will either show up in this or the next season of The Mandalorian, because I honestly think, well, who saved Grogu? Because all that was happening, she witnessed Anakin killing all those people. Well, Grogu, Baby Yoda, was also still there. Do you think that it could have been like Mace Windu is coming back in there to warn them? He sees all the people dead and finds Grogu and saves him and takes him out. That could be a way that they tell that story. That Mace Windu's like, he falls and he's down there for a while and you don't know how long because he's knocked out, because, he fell really far and he lost his hand. And they said, what if he's like getting up, he's like, I gotta warn Master Yoda and all the council, and he gets in there and they're all dead after Yoda and Obi-Wan have already left,
This is good. This is good stuff.
Like, that's what I'm thinking. That, like, if I was writing it, that's what I would do. If I was allowed to be a writer for this show.
I want to watch that, honestly.
Of what I said. Yeah. Well, it's like, imagine, like, Mandalorian premieres, and that's what it is, the first episode, that it's Mace Windu focused.
Yeah.
That you just see the shot of Coruscant, and then you just hear him like fall in the trash or something, and then you see him get up, and it's Samuel Jackson just standing there, because he's got his lightsaber still, so he's still got the purple lightsaber. And Samuel Jackson, he said the other day in an interview that they asked him about being in movies that win Oscars, and like, I don't think he's ever won an Oscar, I don't think. But he says that he would rather play Nick Fury and Mace Windu till he dies more than trying to go after an Oscar. Because he says, I'd rather be in something that I enjoy and that makes a lot of people happy than trying to chase some award that I'll just leave in my house for no reason.
Yeah.
So that's why he said, he's like, I'll be Nick Fury, and he said if they bring back Mace Windu, I'll play those characters for the rest of my life. And he really wants to. He's said it for years that he really wants to play Mace Windu and bring back the purple lightsaber. But it's either him or some other Jedi that got Gru out of there, So it's also rumored that Cal Kestis from Jedi Fallen Order will show up in the last episode of Kenobi. So
there's a lot of potential.
Anything can happen,
It's going to be interesting. Even Quinlan Voss.
I thought he was dead.
Well, he
was
in
still
Rebels.
Alive?
He was in Rebels, wasn't he?
Was he? I don't remember. Darth Maul was in Rebels.
I feel like
Darth Maul
Quinlan
got
Voss
killed in Rebels.
Was in Rebels.
They'll get Sam Witwer to play him. That's who played him in the Solo movie, and he was the voice of Maul in the Clone Wars. He says he wants to come back. He says if they call me right now and say we want you to play Darth Maul live action, he said I'll do it. I mean, in that Lego Star Wars video game, he was the voice of Maul and the Emperor. Just have him
cool.
come back, But they said, because they said that Maul was never an idea for the show, because they said they're focusing on the story of Kenobi and Vader. And I said, if they do a season 2, you gotta have, like, he was in the end of the Solo movie.
Yeah.
Like, he was literally in charge of all these mercenaries and all that at some point in the movie and timeline and all that. Like, we're here, like Darth Maul and Ahsoka, they're all alive.
But their story does end in Rebels, so.
Yeah. And like Kenobi, he was in Rebels, and of course that takes place not too long before Episode 4 happens when he dies.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I wanted to ask you one last question. with Marvel and Star Wars. Out of everything that's been announced with Marvel and everything that's coming soon with Star Wars, as of this moment right now, which one, in your opinion, has a brighter future? Marvel or Star Wars?
I'm gonna be honest. A brighter future, or or say like a more profitable future. Like it's gonna do better.
I think there's two different answers for both of those questions.
Because
Profitable.
Brighter, I feel like maybe Star Wars.
Profitable is Marvel.
But I feel like Marvel's going down a darker road now at this point. They're going into Blade. They're going into Moon Knight.
Deadpool 3.
Deadpool 3. They're setting the stage for having some like really like sort of, I'll say badass movies, but also like
because
some kickers.
Deadpool 3 is going to be rated R, and it's rumored that Blade will also be R-rated because they're trying to slowly get into the Disney Marvel R-rated era.
I don't think you can do Blade without it being rated R.
You can't do Deadpool without it being rated R.
No, you definitely
Ryan Reynolds has already said they're still writing it right now.
Yeah.
So,
but there's also like, I want to see Ghost Rider, not Nick Cage.
Yeah.
I want to see the real Ghost Rider, who's one of the most powerful beings in all of Marvel.
He might be in the next Doctor Strange movie.
I want to see.
A lot of people said that they're going to try and bring the other group. I forget what they're called. It's Strange, Spider-Man, Wolverine, Moon Knight, Blade, and Ghost Rider.
I want to see that.
Like, because they're making that new Marvel game called Midnight Suns, which is in the style of like XCOM or Gears Tactics. It's a tactical game, but it's got the Midnight Suns, which is just a group of Marvel characters fighting vampires, which is like Iron Man, Wolverine, Blade, all of them are teaming up together, Captain America. So, but yeah, I kind of agree that Star Wars feels like it's been revived with The Mandalorian starting it off, you know.
I don't think that they can do anything sort of new, or the sequel trilogy. I don't think they can do anything in that era that will ever be like accepted. Like, I mean, maybe in 20 years, just as they did the prequels and nobody liked it then, now people love it.
Yeah, the generation that's kids now.
Maybe that'll do something, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get down along the line and then they'll start something. But right now, there's still folk. They're like, it's the people who grew up on the original trilogy, that grew up on the prequel trilogy, and they want to see that elaborated on. That's their sort of.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like 4, 5, and 6 are such a tight knit, interwoven story that there's not a lot in between.
No.
And that story has been told over and over, and it's old now almost. You know,
but there's a lot in between 3 and 4.
Yeah, there's a lot in between the trilogies. Like with Mandalorian and all that is between 6 and 7. And then we got the Kenobi show and Bad Batch and all that in between 3 and 4. So it's like they're trying to just fit series and spin-off movies in between because they, Kathleen Kennedy, who's in charge of Star Wars, she's like the Kevin Feige of Star Wars. She has already said that they're not doing any more trilogies. They're done with that. They want to move towards a Marvel-like Star Wars, where they can tell movie, okay, one big movie with everybody in it. They want to do other stuff like that. They got the director of the Wonder Woman movies who's going to be doing one that's about fighter pilots. Taika Waititi is doing his own Star Wars movie. Kevin Feige is going to be in charge of a Star Wars movie. They want him to actually come over and see how he can handle that. A lot of people really want Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni to be the Kevin Feige of Star Wars.
Should be.
And because, I mean, they know what they're doing.
Especially.
Yeah.
Dave Filoni is excellent.
He was, I mean, he's so, I mean, George Lucas wanted him to be in charge of it. So it's like, if George Lucas wants you to be in charge of something that he wrote, you know, he came up with. And then there's the show they're starting to get towards before episode 1. Star Wars The Acolyte is rumored that it's not going to be about one thing. It's going to be kind of like What If, but each episode is going to be different because they're gonna talk about Sith Lords before Episode 1. Like, early stages of Palpatine. Darth Nihilus, Darth Bane, Darth Malak, Darth Revan. Because so many people want an Old Republic series based off of those games. Because Darth Revan is one of the coolest characters to never have his own movie or TV show.
And they could even go with, like, the Force Unleashed games. They could go somewhere in there.
They can do spin-offs that aren't canon. Yeah. Like, they need... Like, a lot of movies and companies don't understand that you can make a movie about anything. Like, make a Star Wars movie or show and just say, oh, it's not connected. It's a spin-off that's non-canon. Because Sam...
Aren't they doing a what-if for Star Wars?
I don't think so.
No, it's the
They're doing the Tales of the Jedi or something.
No, it's the season 2 of... Where they, like, animated every episode different.
Visions,
that's it.
Yeah, they're doing a season 2 of Visions, but they're doing the Tales of the Jedi series, which is animated, and it's going to tell about how Ahsoka was young and first became a Jedi. It's actually going to tell the story of how Count Dooku was a Jedi and turned to the dark side.
Yeah.
So
it's going to be good.
And, like, Qui-Gon training before Obi-Wan, I think.
I want a series on Qui-Gon. I feel like Qui-Gon is one of the coolest Jedi.
And he's so different compared to him.
He's what a Jedi should be. And they all, like, especially, like, in the prequels, this is their downfall because for hundreds of years they lost the way and they were just, like, following the order. But he was following the pursuit of wisdom. So, like, he was curious. He wanted to learn. And he wanted to be what Jedi had always been before him. Instead, the rest of them were just trying to they were acting as police of the galaxy.
Yeah, well, a lot of them were like...
not what the Jedi
and they started slowly dying off because, like they said, that Kenobi killing Maul, well, quote-unquote killing him, cutting him in half, they said that was the first time a Jedi's killed a Sith in like 100 years or something. So it's like, but the Acolyte series takes place like 100 or more years before Episode 1. Mm-hmm. So we're going to get, like, I think towards the end, they're going to tell the story of Darth Plagueis training Palpatine.
Which would be awesome.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they said, like, a story on him himself because he's... Not only is he so true with the dark side, it's just how he was able to manipulate himself to being a senator without all of them knowing. Mm-hmm. He's literally in the same building as the Jedi Council. The High Jedi Council of Yoda and all these others that did not know that he was evil.
The reason he could do that is, especially... in the Jedi Temple is because the Jedi Temple used to be a Sith temple.
Yeah.
And they thought that they had purified the temple.
It was still just hidden.
He went back in there and unpurified that
shit. Yeah, because
so every time he went in there, they were always this is why in the prequels they were like, it feels... I can't.
Like Yoda was always feeling something in the temple.
Yeah, and he was like, it's just so blurry. I don't understand. We need to, like, think on this some more. It's because they were blinded by all the Sith
Palpatine
energy.
Was kind of like a Sith fog that he blurred their vision in the temple.
And he was always able to disguise himself because there's an even bigger energy coming from the temple.
Because they said it was like the underground under the temple was like Sith holocron type area where they would do. Well, it's because that's where they worshipped. That apparently they either worshipped Darth Bane or any of the other older Sith lords, back in the day of like the Revan and Malak days of those. But telling a story of like the Old Republic, because I mean Revan, he started out as a Jedi, turned bad. Had his apprentice turned evil too. They ruled for a while. Then he had a fight, like lost all of his memory, turned back to a Jedi, and then had to fight his apprentice. That's basically, in a nutshell, what happened. But there's like 2 video games based off it. There's Darth Nihilus. That is so powerful and just a weird concept that Nihilus would suck the energy out of a planet because he was very hungry and needy of energy, and that's how he lived, was to suck the literal essence and energy out of the core of a planet using the dark side. But it's very interesting to see what's going to happen, but I'm very prepared to see.
I'm excited.
All that kind of stuff. So anything else you want to say at the end of this?
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Number 8.
Yeah. Let's bring this up to the double digits.
That's true.
We're getting there.
By the time you'll be on next again, She-Hulk, I think, might start because it's premiering, I think, in August. So yeah. So thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
As always, please rate and subscribe. And if you're listening on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe. And click that bell to get notified when new videos are uploaded. And make sure you follow the Toddcast only on Instagram at @_Toddcast_ for all your Toddcast social media needs. Make sure you tell your friends and your family, or anybody really, to give it a listen. And thank all of you for listening to this episode. And if you want to know what's going to happen next week, well, I guess you're just going to have to tune in to find out. Only on the Toddcast.